Hello, my name is Cornhusker0302 and I'm here on TheMineShack.net with Ocean,
Woo!
the owner. And today we're going to be going over the comparison between Apple computer products and Windows computer products. So where do we start?
I guess we'll just start with what that includes. I guess like with Macs, I guess the iMac, the
Macs.
MacBooks, Mac Pros. Actually, I guess just mostly we'll focus on the MacBooks.
Okay.
Mostly. Actually, do you want to just do MacBooks and like Windows laptops, or?
Do a comparison of roughly all of them. So
Okay, sounds good.
basically we're going to be going over, the Apple laptops, the Apple computers, and then like Windows desktops, Windows PCs, and laptops. So
All right, sweet.
I guess which side do we want to start on? Do we want to start Windows, start Apple, or do we want to do, just pick two and compare them?
Want to first deliver your opinion on how you feel about both of them, or?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Like just the operating system, I guess.
Okay.
If that works first.
So I guess I'll go first. With
Alright.
with Apple, the operating system is good for social interaction. Besides that, it's not really a great office computer. Because correct me if I'm wrong, they do have some knockoff brands of like Windows, Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, Excel, things like that, but they don't really operate to the extent that they're meant to be. So in terms of office computers, I would side with Windows. But if I wanted a social connection with people for Skype or Facebook or interaction with the iCloud, that's the only reason that I would use Apple products. And then with Windows, I would use for Office if I needed it for that purpose, because their computers are very buff and strong and they can handle, hard loads where Apple can't really. But once again, if I wanted social, I'd go Apple. If I want Office, I'd go Windows. And if I wanted gaming and like online app usage, I would go with Windows. So I guess now your opinion.
All right. Yeah. See, I kind of, for the most part, I guess disagree. Only like you said with I take one headphone off. Sorry. With Office, they actually like do support Office. Like you can buy Office in store and stuff for Macs. And you said like they have knockoffs. They actually do. They have the Pages, Keynote, and Numbers, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And those are kind of like the Apple's take on the same style. So like Pages would be Word, Keynote would be PowerPoint, and Numbers is Excel, or
Mm-hmm.
the equivalent. So they do sell I guess actual software for Macs as well, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like I've had experience with my MacBook. I had a 2011 MacBook Pro, so
Okay.
it's a pretty solid computer, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess overall, if I were to choose between like with Macs, I'd go with that for like general computer usage, because I've had I feel like I've had a lot more what's the word for it? I totally forgot the word I was just about to say. Reliability.
Okay.
I feel like I've had more reliability with my MacBook over my Windows computers.
Mm-hmm. Now, by Windows computers being non-reliable, are you meaning the laptop?
Oh, my desktop, and I mean just like Windows.
Windows in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like I don't know. I felt that the Mac OS is a bit more stable.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like I haven't gotten any. I never really had any problems with my MacBook,
Mm-hmm.
and I had it for 2 years. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just decided to sell, get a nice gaming desktop, because
Yeah.
yeah, that's another thing. I guess gaming, definitely Windows. My MacBook could handle games like okay, like like it wasn't terrible, but the variety obviously isn't.
The way that I kind of look at it is Windows supplies, or Microsoft in general, they can supply certain computer components that are really good workhorses and like can handle high frame per second games and they can operate smoothly. But I would have to agree with you with reliability. I probably would go with Apple or another brand because it seems to be that computers that are made and manufactured by Microsoft they aren't really that reliable. So, but then again, if you start getting into like the hybrid computers, like an Acer computer that is Acer but uses the Microsoft workhorse portions of their systems, that is a good computer. But
All right.
but yeah, I do have to agree with you.
Hey, there's someone in the background.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, like I definitely would prefer Windows. I guess for gaming, it's like I guess computer intensive
Yeah.
stuff. Because if you just buy a MacBook, then like the graphics card isn't the greatest.
Yeah.
Now I would say also like a lot of laptops today do feature the Intel HD graphics if they're using Intel. So it's not like it's uncommon to have like only an okay graphics card on a laptop. So I mean, when you're paying that much for a computer, you do want to make sure that it's like stable. Like also another thing I really love about the MacBooks is I feel like they're really well built. Like they have nice aluminum unibody, right?
Yeah.
So like compared to like say an $800 like Asus or something, generally
Yeah.
they're going to be made of like plastic, right? So
Yes.
yeah.
That is the computer that I have, which my family purchased. It's an Acer Generation 2 gaming computer that Acer produced, and during its time, it was top of the line. And by
Yeah.
time, I mean last year. It was a very high-end computer. But the thing which you pointed out that I have against it is most of its case is plastic.
Yeah.
Yes, it does have a metallic skeletal system or like frame inside of it,
Yeah.
but a lot of the outer part is plastic, which can scratch easily when a tower, for instance, that Apple would produce or one of their laptops is more metallic, it's more firm, and it's less likely to scratch. The one thing which I would like to hint towards is the tablet production between the two companies.
Oh yes, let's go into that.
Because I know that we've kind of discussed it previously, but I have to say that they're kind of equals. They're kind of peer companies because I personally I've had limited experience with iPads, mainly the iPad minis.
Oh yeah.
I kind of rarely use Apple products just out of pure belief. But I have also had experience with, like the Windows 8 Yoga that Microsoft helped make, of which, if none of you know what that is, it's basically a laptop tablet computer that the screen is touchscreen Windows 8 and it can rotate, flip, disconnect, and basically become anything you want. And with experience from both of them, I think it's really hard to pick a specific victor between the two.
Because of certain aspects being better for some.
Yeah, because I feel like app usage is better with Microsoft, kind of. If I can only pick from Microsoft and Apple, I would have to say that general app usage is better under Microsoft, but tablet appearance and work power is better with Apple.
Yeah. See, let's see. I would say, yeah, definitely the appearance. Apple always knows how to make their stuff look good. That's why they're able to, like sell a lot better. I feel like people will generally pick something that looks better over something that works better.
Yeah.
So now I'm not so much like that. Like I'll build like a custom computer, and like I'll get a case that's like, you know, $40 and like works really well and looks, you know, it has to look decent. Like you won't want something completely terrible, but like instead of paying, you know, $80 for something that does the same thing but like looks prettier.
Yeah.
Now,
Go ahead.
okay, I was gonna say also, I guess on tablets, the iPad Mini actually, I had that and upgraded to iOS 7, and it was really terrible. Like I felt like the processor and stuff like that wasn't good enough for the operating system. So you know, I'd open up apps and stuff that played fine on iOS 6 or almost fine even, and they you know, they wouldn't run too well. So I ended up returning that and getting an Asus Nexus 7, so we're probably not going to go into that too much, but I'd say the Nexus 7 HD is probably one of the better tablets out there. So
yeah. If you give me a second here, well, I guess with tablets, since we're going with just kind of Apple and Microsoft, do we want to put a comparison in of, for instance, like the Samsung tablets or Asus to just kind of compare what is a good general usage tablet?
Sure, why not?
Okay. So, you know, it's close to Christmas, or Christmas just came, and for Christmas I got the Asus Memo Pad. Mine is the smaller version of the two, and just as a comparison to, you know, kind of the points that we made of how well can it handle apps that are put on it, or how well is its general like workforce, how much can it take before it kind of breaks, and, you know, appearance and case and protection that's built into it. I really have to say I like the job that Asus and Samsung have done. They've decided to go more with the Android side to the like systems, and Android, when used properly, can be very good. And you know, like my Memo Pad, I have every capability that the iPhone would have, or like an iPad, and I have almost every capability that a Microsoft tablet would have, and yet I have it in 4 times a smaller item, and it looks like the case, it looks like an product. It looks like an Apple product. It has a very nice, you know, kind of appeasing design to it. Coloration is good. But, you know, when it comes down to the tech stuff of it, it's a great little thing.
Yeah, so it's like something that like will actually work with the operating system. Like my Nexus 7, actually, it's I believe it's 50% more powerful than the iPad Mini, and it's like $100 cheaper or something. So, you know, it runs really well. It's got a great little processor in there. I think it's 1.5 gigahertz or something in dual core, you know, so it's a pretty solid thing. Like I don't have too much to say about it other than like it's like really a solid tablet. Plus it's Asus, right? So
yes,
like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, you know, it's built like, in a way, it's kind of built like a, you know, army jeep. It looks pleasing. No, it's not the best thing, but I'm able to handle it and not be afraid of dropping it and having it break in half. Oh yeah. Well,
actually, I don't know. I'd say it's definitely up there on the tablets. So like, it's definitely top. Honestly, I think like probably top 5 in its approximate price range, because I know there's I think it's called the Sony Xperia Z or something, or something like that, and it's like $500, but it's a really, really good tablet. So like, you know, that's, you know, when you pay more, you're generally gonna get something better, right?
Yeah.
But like I'd say like in its price range and compared to iPads, it's definitely really good, because it also features a 1080p display on a 7-inch screen. So, you know, that's another thing to look at, right? The pixel density and stuff. You know, watching those HD movies and stuff on the tablet.
So I'm just kind of doing some basic research here, so you can continue talking.
All right. Is it fine if I go back to computers a bit more, or?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
Can you please tell me, is someone like running across my screen?
I don't think so. No one. No, it's only us.
Huh. Because like I'm seeing Minecraft feet go across my screen.
Huh. I don't
And
see anyone here.
like I know that World is nearby, so I don't know. Anyway, continue.
Huh.
So heading back into what do you call it?
Or like, I guess
Yeah.
the desktop OS or whatever you want to call it, the
Yeah.
laptop. Yeah, I think Apple. I really like one of the main reasons I like Apple is because, like, you know how, okay, so imagine two laptops, right? One's a, let's say, MacBook Air, so it's got the solid state, right? And then we have a you know, like a nice like 128 gig solid state on a laptop of some sort that's with Windows, right?
Yeah.
Now the thing I don't like about Windows is how like massive the operating system is.
Yeah.
Because like with them it's like 23 gigs or something. So, you know, I have a 3 terabyte hard drive on my desktop. That's not a problem. So with like, imagine however, on a MacBook the operating system is around 4 gigs, maybe 5 now. I'm not sure. Yeah, so you can imagine like how much more space you have. Like that's almost 20 gigs difference. So
Yeah.
yeah, also like the Mac operating system is a lot more lightweight. You know, like it's not as complex, I guess.
Yeah.
Now one of the main features is that obviously that they have a really nice look to it, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you look at a Mac and you're like, damn, like that looks nice.
Yeah. It seems, you know, for the general user or like a stay-at-home mom, it seems.
I'm not a stay-at-home mom.
I know. I'm using general terms, but it's more appeasing. Like you would want to buy a Mac over, you know, a Microsoft gaming computer because, you know, a gaming computer is bulky and it looks like a military item.
So I guess you're kind of referring to the Alienwares, right?
In a way, yes.
Yeah, because, you know, they're huge. Like, but the thing is, I absolutely love them. Just all the lights and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd also say like they look really nice. So that's something that people might want to buy. However, people say that MacBooks are overpriced, but then I feel like the real competitor. Well, I don't know. I guess the competitor in looks and all that stuff for Windows would be the Dell Alienwares, right? Because they're, you know,
Yes.
they're very
They're lightweight.
unique, I guess.
Yeah, they're lightweight. They're unique.
They're not lightweight.
Well,
Alienwares are huge.
some of them. But you see, the only thing that I don't like about Alienware is they contain like they've packed so much stuff into them that
Yeah.
it kind of becomes pointless at a point because they keep saying that, you know, liquid cooling for a computer makes it run better. That may be true, but I also know that just having a basic store-bought fan inside your computer also does equally as well.
Yeah. And also just like having good ventilation on your computer. I know, like as long as it's like in an open space, like you just need like a cheap fan that works and it'll definitely do really well.
Yeah.
Instead
So-
of paying however much for liquid cooling, like what, around 100 for
Yeah.
entry.
Yeah, something like that. So just kind of a random note here, I went on to Google and pulled up the overall total income of Apple products in 2013. And it's actually quite interesting just kind of looking at it. Without me telling you anything, what product out of Apple would you think would sell the most?
I would think probably the. Oh geez, I'm thinking between the iPod Touch and the iPhone. So I guess I'll just go with the iPhone. However, I also know that MacBooks are really, or iMacs, one of those two, I forget, are really popular in schools and stuff now.
Yeah.
So the iMac is really popular with schools.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the iPhone, I guess.
Now, see, this is where it kind of gets interesting. Yes, these are net sales. They aren't specific, month to month. But the highest grossing income consumption that was used was the iPad.
Oh wow.
It netted near the end about $55,000 was the near the end of the year net sale on it.
Do you mean
However,
55 million or
no, 55,000.
that's it?
I'm
Oh wait,
checking.
units sold or what?
No, $55,000. Their overall income for the year was
But it's like,
146.8 billion.
oh, there we go. There's the big number. I was gonna say, wait, that seems kind of low, but all
Yeah,
right,
that was their overall consumption. But
all right, sweet.
just looking at it, it seems to be that a lot of people are drawn to the iPads, surprisingly, towards August-ish. Like it seems to be the kind of around August, July, August, that time frame. There's a massive spike, and then it continues to get larger throughout the rest of the year.
I think, don't they release new ones in maybe March, April, or something though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the only real way to kind of put that down, to put a finger on that, is that they release a new one and then it becomes the great consumption because an iPad's visually pleasing, and compared to most other tablets out there, it looks better, and
Yeah.
it seems like you're spending better money, so people would wait until that time frame and then they would purchase it when like the price has gone down, like we purchase games.
Yeah.
You wait a couple of months, then you go purchase it.
That makes sense.
However, the thing that I find most interesting here is that the Mac, iTunes, and iPod for the entire year barely reached 10,000 as the overall consumption. Which, just kind of looking at this, I might be reading this wrong. Oh, yep, there you go. In millions.
There you go. See, that's what I was saying. I was like, it seems kind of low. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So
Overall, Mac, iPod, and iTunes barely reached 10 million. When iPad and iPhone reached iPad reached 50 million, roughly, and iPhone's largest spike was about 39 million.
wow.
But still, in comparison to things that Microsoft did, they made 113 million on computers with Windows 8.
Yeah. Well, also the funny thing I think I just remembered is I was watching like an Apple keynote talking about the new operating system, and they were saying how I think it's like over 50% of or close to 50% of all Apple users are running the newest operating system. So now some of the older ones can't run it, and obviously the computers are still solid. That's what I think I've said before, is that the Mac computers, they stay good for a while. So I guess there's not really as much of a need to get the new one, but that's besides the point. So half of all computers using Mac OS X were using the newest one, which is really good. So so maybe some people don't want to buy it, or even though it's a really good price too, don't want to buy it. Like their computer can't update to it, or whatever the reason. But then they looked at how many computers were using Windows 8, and it was like 5% or something.
Yeah. But on the topic of Windows 8. For overall operating systems, so like Windows 7, Windows 8, and whatever Apple products use, I don't know.
Like Lion, Mountain Lion, whatever.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Like the versions.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So which of those would you actually prefer to get? Like, if you could build your dream computer, which operating system would you use?
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna have to say Windows 7 only because of gaming.
Yeah.
If not, then I just use the newest version of Mac OS.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that. That's the thing I like about Mac though, is that for the most part they don't really screw stuff up. I think.
Yeah.
They've taken out a few things that have kind of
Mhm.
bothered me, like PowerPC compatibility and something called Rosetta.
Mhm.
So that kind of bothers me, but like it's not like something huge. So whereas
Yeah.
like Windows 7 to 8, like I know we've gone over this before. Like XP to Vista was like and then Windows 7 to Windows 8 was but like
Yeah.
also we kind of know it's gonna be kind of terrible. But like
Well, I think the issue that Microsoft is doing, and the reason that Apple is seeming to, in many of these fields, kind of begin to make a rise and kind of state its claim in all these subjects, it's because Apple is staying where Apple knows what to do.
yeah.
Like, if you look at it, over the years that Apple has been in function, they've never really ventured out
They just
too
kind of
much.
like added on to what they know and try and work with that.
They've kept just kind of updating their products, like the iPhone, iPad.
Yeah.
Whereas Microsoft keeps doing these giant leaps.
And going out on different tangents, seeing what
Yeah.
works and stuff. Yeah, see,
And-
I kind of like that idea, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I like Apple's because I know
Yeah.
that they're gonna make something, like that's.
But at the same time, the reason why you're liking Apple is because they're able to do these small ventures, but they are able to add so much more in their updates,
Yeah.
so that they're actually able to, over time, give their consumer more than just a phone. Where what Microsoft is doing is, between Windows 7, Windows 8, they're doing a massive jump, but by doing that jump, they're risking winning or losing a massive amount of consumers. And what, in my opinion, they actually did this time was they lost a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because what they tried to do was go into this touchscreen computer area, and touchscreens, they're okay, they're kind of fun to use, but what they did wrong was they tried to join the world of PC with the world of Xbox and console gaming.
Oh yeah.
And that is where they went wrong, because Microsoft thought it's a touchscreen system. Well, let's make the home page look like that of the Xbox One.
I think actually I feel like they were making it more so like the Windows Phone.
That is true.
But that all follows a similar tile.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Kind of like the tiled effect of all of your menus. And by doing that, they only visually pleased those gamers who have had experience with tiled menus. The people who have experience with, the Microsoft home key and then a folder-based menu.
Yeah.
Or whatever Apple uses. I think it's roughly the same thing.
Yeah, it's really pretty much the same.
Yeah. When Microsoft made this jump, those people who are used to that kind of system went to Apple. They went for their systems. They went for Samsung, Asus, the other competitors of Microsoft, because they don't do these drastic win or lose jumps, and they stay in a field where they know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my rant is over. You may speak now.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree for the most part. Like, I'm not sure if there's anything I really disagree with that about, because I kind of like I respect how Windows or Microsoft likes to go off and try and try new things that may or may not work. So it does affect their I don't want to say income, but like their user base or something.
Well, yeah.
Like some people will be like, "Oh, I don't like that. I'm gonna go somewhere else." Like,
just in June 30th of 2013 for Microsoft, they made 77,849,000. That was their total income for June 30th of 2013.
So is that like for that month or
No, for the year
like that half?
to that, yeah.
Okay, so semi.
Yeah, it's okay, not wonderful. But then this is the key thing. They lost 26,764,000. And around that same time, Windows 8 was beginning to be released.
Yeah.
Or like Windows 8 was beginning to be beta tested. And a lot of that is because they went in a giant leap, which, Microsoft is known for. For instance, pointing fingers back at Windows XP to Windows Vista, and then Windows 7 to Windows 8.
So wait. Which
Go
one
ahead.
would you say is worse though? Well, not worse, but like more of a drastic change for the worst to Vista or to Windows 8?
Who?
Because like Vista wasn't like horrible, but at the same time, I felt like it was like really kind of. I don't know.
I actually, what I have to say, they're really kind of about equal. But if I had to say which one is the worst, I would have to say the transition from Windows 7 to Windows 8. And my reasoning for that is because the transition from XP to Vista, no, it wasn't wonderful, but they didn't confuse the heck out of previous users.
That's true.
With 7 to 8, the navigation system for Microsoft products is completely changed. So you can't go from Windows 7 to Windows 8 and not be a gamer and understand immediately where to go and how to do stuff. It's not that it's impossible. It is kind of easy, but if I gave it to my mother, it would take her 4.5 weeks to master just the home screen.
So I want to try kind of change what you were saying a bit, but
yeah, sure.
But by gamers, you kind of do you mean sort of more like computer savvy people, or did you specifically mean gamers?
Well, I guess you have a point there. Kind of a combination of both.
Right.
People who are savvy with computers and people who have spent a long time with the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One and kind of understand how Microsoft does things. Who is that guy?
Creative Guy 888.
Oh, okay.
I can tell just by the skin. He actually won one of our most recent house building contests. So.
Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I watched that. Anyway. So, where were we? That completely derailed me.
Just Windows 8 and gamers.
Yeah. So, that's basically my point. Is I don't mean gamers who are only savvy with PC. Just people in general who know what a PC is, how they use it, or people who know what an Xbox is and what the home screen looks like. Those are kind of the only people who could immediately pick it up, immediately pick up a Windows 8 tablet, and know how to use it.
Yeah.
If you bought it for your grandmother, she'd go insane trying to figure it out.
Because my grandpa was actually thinking of getting a new computer, and I was like, well, if you get one with Windows 8, then it's gonna be harder for me to help you because I'm not.
Yeah.
Even I'm not the greatest with a Windows 8 computer. My friend, he's had a Windows 8 laptop for a while, and he's gotten used to it, but he said it took him a while.
Yeah. And I have the great ability where I can pick something up and just by messing around with it and clicking buttons, I can master things in roughly 3 hours.
Yeah, generally it's not too hard to use, but I didn't know that you could slide in from the right side of the trackpad to open up the side thing, and
yeah,
that's something I didn't know, or you can put your mouse up in the top right corner to open it up. I didn't know stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's something that you'd have to kind of look online and be shortcuts and stuff like that of Windows 8, cool new features or whatever. So
yeah. On that point, how you brought up the idea of mouse.
Oh yes, let's talk about the mouse.
Yeah, let's kind of deviate over to that. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer the mouse that Apple tends to use, or do you prefer the classic mouse? yeah, 2 button and a scroll mouse that, a desktop PC from Microsoft would come with.
All right, so this would be kind of fun. So,
Yeah.
oh, I moved my mouse too much. Like right now, I'm using like a normal, standard, like somewhat gaming mouse, like two button thing with the click wheel. However, our family has an iMac, and we have like the the Magic Mouse, so you can like. So that's the thing. Like I really do like. Okay, I'll start off with the Windows one from the Mac one, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So the Mac one I really like, and I enjoy using, but with Windows, like I absolutely need to use the normal one, only because of the fact that like if I was playing like a first-person shooter, like you gotta aim in and shoot. You can't do that with the Magic Mouse.
Yeah.
So that was like the main thing. However, I do like the Magic Mouse because you're able to like move you could slide your finger on it and like move a page back on like the web browser.
Yeah.
So like overall, and like it's Bluetooth, so it's really nice too. So I can use it with my like with a MacBook, the iMac. Like you can use it with other Bluetooth devices. So that's why I like that. However, it's like $60 or something. I think it might be 45, 40. It's around that area though, so it's expensive. Whereas I can get like a normal mouse for a lot cheaper and have it's a mouse. Like it's
and
it just needs
and
the
the other point of mouses, most times a like PC system will come with a bundle. So unless you specifically want a hybrid or adaptive mouse, you can get a mouse and keyboard for a set price. When with Apple, as far as I know, you like the Magic mouse or whatever it is, you have to buy that separately. You don't get the keyboard with it.
No, with the iMac, and I know with the iMac you do get the keyboard and mouse because it's an all-in-one with the keyboard and mouse, which is Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So I know with that one you do. With the Mac Pro, I'm not completely sure because that's just the computer tower. So it's not like it's coming with the display as well or anything. So it might just be the computer for that. But another thing I want to point out and make sure everyone knows is that with the it's the Magic Mouse. Like there is a right-click function. Like technically it's all one click, but if you click on the right side of the mouse, then it will provide with the right click. So.
Yeah. But you see, like I totally understand every point you've made, and I understand how that can be used by people. But just for me specifically, I instinctively go for a mouse, like just the way that a mouse feels.
Oh yeah, the Magic Mouse does feel kind of odd, anyway.
Yeah,
so.
like it feels almost. Are you familiar with the film Total Recall?
I actually saw that recently, or somewhat recently, like a month or two ago.
Yeah. Or like
remind me of what that was.
I'll kind of go into the game world. Dead Space 3 or Killzone.
All right.
So what I kind of feel like the Magic Mouse is trying to copy is the like door activators of Killzone, where it's a flat surface that you basically put your hand on and manipulate it by palm movements, not finger.
Well, actually, they've had the Mighty Mouse, which was kind of the previous version, I guess, and that dates back like a few years, definitely. Like I think probably more than a decade. I'm not completely sure, but I know it's like really old, and it was originally just a click, like one click button.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it wasn't copying anything. It was nice. It was just smooth. It was literally one click. That's it. And you had to hold down the Option key on the keyboard and click to right click. And you'd have to actually drag the scroll thing on the side. But that was like a really old mouse. Like that was old, like back when like normal mice had didn't have the scroll wheel.
Yeah.
And then they added the little scroll ball, which is, I think it's pretty cool. So it was like a little ball on the top, like kind of like on the bottom, that you could scroll left, right, any direction that you wanted.
Yeah.
And that would act as the scroll wheel, and I really like that. That's the last Mighty Mouse, and then right after that they came up with the Magic Mouse, which is just like the smooth white and then that shape.
Yeah. I kind of think like the last thing we'll try and go over here before we kind of do our final, accept or veto. What do you think about the keyboards?
Oh yes. Let's see. Well, I mean, it's kind of Mac keyboards versus every other keyboard in the world. That's technically how it is. I mean, like.
Well, I guess just to kind of narrow down the specifics, think of just like your basic Logitech keyboard.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like my SteelSeries Apex, like.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
All right. So like just a basic keyboard.
Yeah, just a basic Logitech keyboard compared to a Apple.
Okay, wait.
Keyboard.
In this Logitech keyboard, do the F keys, like the F1 through 12,
yes.
do those have the media buttons and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
we'll go with that. Okay.
Yeah, like the home screen, magnify, that kind of stuff.
All right. So, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Mac ones, just because I love how the keys are a bit more low profile.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna go into like the special like MacBook Pro backlit, because actually that's the thing. Like I love how all the keyboards are relatively similar. Like I'm pretty sure they're all the same size, except for like the MacBook Air 11-inch, which is a bit too small to have the proper keyboard. So I think they may have shrunk it a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the spacing and all that stuff is the same throughout all the keyboards, which really helps out. But yeah, I would say that I prefer the Mac keyboard. Like it's not something that's as big of a deal for me, although I do like the lower profile and keys. So
my kind of opinion on it, I like the Mac keyboard. It's more sleeker, it's easier to transport,
right.
And it's not as like bulky.
Yeah, definitely.
As other keyboards. The only thing that I don't like about it is some of the placement of the keys.
Oh, okay, I understand that.
Like just like the home key, for instance. There's 2 of them.
Like the home key?
Or whatever the menu key is.
Oh, the command button?
Yeah, command key, sorry.
Okay. So what about Alt then?
Well, I rarely use Apple, so I don't know the...
No, I mean like the Alt on the normal keyboards.
Well, the Alts on the normal keyboards, they work, and yes, there's multiple, and they can get irritating, but their placement makes them logical. They're next to the space bar, but if you're typing, there's no way that you would accidentally hit one.
All right.
Like when I'm gaming, I'm using WASD, and there's almost no way for me to accidentally hit Alt on either side.
All right.
Whereas if I'm typing or doing a Google search with an Apple keyboard, my little finger might accidentally slip, and boom, now the command window's open.
Yeah, see, I've never had that problem with like the function key control option or command, like the 4 that are along the bottom. Like I've never had a problem with accidentally pressing them, so I wouldn't that wouldn't be a problem for me.
Okay. Alright, yeah. That's just something that's come into my mind. But alright, so I guess let's in that case kinda pull back to the original point of the podcast and point a finger at which company would we side with out of the 2, and then out of almost every company, which would we recommend?
All right. So by that, do you mean like companies like ASUS, Samsung, Asus, or Acer, like that? Okay.
Yeah, that stuff. So like, just the topic of the podcast was Apple and Microsoft. So out of those 2, which one would we side on? And then just out of companies in general, which would we side on?
All right. Well, how about what if we split it up a bit? Because personally, I have to use something different for different things.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
I guess I'll do it like this. Overall, technically, like for how I'm living right now, like what I'm doing with my time and stuff like that, I'd say Windows. Because like right now I do my courses online from home. I'm able to, and I game a lot, and I like to watch movies. That's actually not as big of a deal, but so I prefer to use Windows because like gaming, obviously, I'm able to. There's like a lot more games for Windows. I'm able to build my own custom PC and run it with Windows a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like my courses, I guess, aren't as big of a deal. Like they don't really affect me because I used to do my courses on my MacBook, and then I switched to Windows. So, you know, that's not as big of a deal. But like if I were actually in college, like in an actual school for college, then I definitely prefer a MacBook just because of like how I stated earlier, the reliability, and I guess even durability, because you know you could be walking around along with your computer for whatever reason, instead of having it in your bag or whatever, and then someone trips you and then you drop it. It's more likely to be safe than a Windows computer.
Yeah.
Or laptop, I should say, generally.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess is that your like kind of final say for out of the two?
I pretty much, yeah. So like based on how I'm living right now, Windows. However, if I was in an actual college, then I definitely would want to go with the Mac.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of point on what you were saying there. My opinion is it really depends on your lifestyle.
Yeah.
If, like I said in the beginning, if your lifestyle is social or just kind of, you know, clicking and clacking away at a keyboard and doing kind of mindless, senseless stuff on Google, no offense to Apple users who watch this, definitely go for the Apple because it's a stronger, it's a better case, and you know it's kind of more pleasing visually. You're not going to get bored staring at, you know, a black Acer screen. But the downside to it is Apple computers and software are almost impossible to repair if anything breaks, because the case you really can't open.
Yeah, you can. On the bottom, there's just screws. You pop it at the bottom right off.
Okay,
I've
Ocean.
upgraded my RAM and my hard drive. Gotten it repaired once, but.
Ocean is a genius with Apple.
I had my MacBook for 2 years. So sorry for interrupting, by the way, though.
No, it's fine. So that's kind of my opinion. Apple is more social based and kind of family based. Like if you want to have your family's social interaction under a cloud, go Apple. Don't do this Windows 8 stuff.
Yeah.
However, if you want gaming, hardware reliability, and a workhorse for like an office building, or games, I would go for Windows products. Specifically the desktops, not the laptops, not the tablets, or these phones, just specifically the desktops, because what we had touched on earlier is, you know, branching out from your, you know, kind of bubble that you know, and under the desktops, Microsoft rarely does that, and almost every desktop they make is good, it's reliable, and you're able to do things with it.
Yeah. So actually the school I was in when I was in high school, before I switched to online classes, which I preferred, they actually had like in their computer, like, you know how most classes like have like 2 computers in each room if they're normal class, and then like if it's a computer class they have like a whole like 30 computers or whatever. Yeah,
you know, the school tech rooms that don't understand what a computer is. Yeah.
Yeah, like they actually had all Macs and stuff though. Like so like all like every desk, every teacher's desk would have like an iMac. It connected to the projector or whatever. So I kind of did like that integration, and it seemed like it was working better than Windows. Like I want to say, like if you start to use a Mac, then you'll definitely like. People seem to be kind of scared of using it. I feel like people seem like it's kind of harder to use, but you kind of like just realize some stuff's in a different spot, and then you're like, oh, okay, well it's not as bad. Like, so you know, like, you know, Windows and Mac. Actually, I feel like they do pretty good with both if you're doing like work and stuff. I've done some pretty hardcore video editing with my MacBook. It wasn't obviously amazing if I'm editing 1080p video in Final Cut. Like it wasn't, you know, awesome, but like it's not like it was terrible. But yeah, like when you're using Word and stuff, I feel like it's actually fine. So I would disagree with you saying that it's like better to go with Windows if you're, you know, like for work, because I feel like Mac computers also do an equally good job with that.
Yeah, I guess kind of what you're saying. It's becoming increasingly harder to really point fingers and say
Yeah.
this company is better because both of them, there used to be a very vast difference between them, like almost a chasm.
Yeah.
Apple did phones, Microsoft did computers, and that. You know, there was no comparison at all. But what's been happening is where Microsoft has been doing these jumps, like we said, and losing ground, Apple has been snapping at their heels and is now taking ground. And they're becoming very, very close competitors.
Yeah. So before we end this
Yep.
thing, like before we get like comments saying, this is better, you're wrong, whatever. It's more so
Yeah.
like what you said just not too long ago. It's so much based, like they're both great companies doing great things in different aspects. So it's 100% based on what your lifestyle is. So, you know, like for me, well, actually, we've already been over all this stuff, but yeah, I just want to say like it's kind of more so based on how you live and what works best for you. So I wouldn't say that there's a better company just because of certain aspects being better or worse with each one. So
Yeah. So I guess let's wrap up with saying overall, what is our recommendation? Like,
but then that defeats the purpose of the lifestyle thing. It's kind of hard.
yeah.
So if you want to do game, okay, fine, I'll do it then. If you want nice gaming and stuff, always go Windows. Or always go Windows just because of compatibility. Building your own computer is a lot easier with Windows, and the library for gaming is a lot larger. However, most other things you can do with both. So, you know, Mac's always a safe way to go, I guess. I know it's definitely one of the top computers for college students. I've looked at the lists. So I want to say the Macs are always good for reliability and stuff like that as well. So, you know, like Windows is just kind of better for gaming.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna do like a kind of really broad overview.
All right.
If you want desktops, desktops for gaming, go Microsoft.
Yeah.
If you want kind of social lifestyle, go Apple. If you want tablets, go Asus or Samsung.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you want phones, we're not going to get into that because that conversation will go on for another 2.5 hours.
Actually, we can rehab our iPhone, Android conversation another time if you want.
I was planning on that.
All right.
Hopefully, if we can get Tinder in here, or if it's just you and me again.
Yeah.
But then for phones, it's really what you like.
Yeah.
Like
it kind of goes
really,
back to the lifestyle thing too, right?
It's based upon what your personal expectations of a phone are.
Perfect. Yeah.
If you're thinking of them as social, it's Apple. If you're thinking them of app usage, it's any Android.
Usability would be more so Android.
Yeah, usability is Android, and kind of just fanciness and touchscreen, all this hoo-ha, it's Microsoft things, even though their phones are horrible.
Oh yeah, like actually, I like the new Nokia phone. I forget what it's called, but it's the one with the camera on it. That's like the one Nokia phone that I like.
So I guess that's basically it.
All right.
We'll just kind of wrap up there. So I guess thanks for watching, and I'll post through FPS Crusader, which is my YouTube channel, and Ocean the Skater will post through his. And we'll just kind of give you guys updates on when new podcasts are coming up or whenever we're going to have a discussion. So we'll catch you all later.
All right, peace.